My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down, crying.
It turns out that Attila, the arrogant so-and-so, he's got a fake hammer.
Oh, a fake?
Yeah.
Whoa. As I say, dick.
So welcome to episode 60 of the Your Legions podcast. And that's a nice round number for this week. This week we're going to have a little chat about the Legions Con Day 1 reveal, the amazing 2-pack that they revealed this week. We also just mentioned that Legions Con's tickets are now on sale and they're going well by the sounds of it. And we're also going to round off then by talking about a little bit through predictions that we have for the rest of the year. So what the rest of the year might look like from our completely uninformed perspective. So as usual, you can all laugh at us when we get it extremely wrong. And when we get one little tiny detail right, we'll be bringing it up again and again and again for our own benefit.
I think I've already done my bit for this week, though. Hey, getting a mention on the 4 o'clock show, I think.
We'll get to that. So, how
got
are you, Mal?
bigger. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah?
I'm good, yeah. Be better in a couple of days when it's the weekend.
Exactly. We were kind of deep in, the minutiae of all the figures, and then that came up, and it was like, let's just talk about that then instead in our group chat. So that was fun. So we might have missed a few details after that. And Rich, how are you? You're back in Bristol after the Easter holidays in Wales?
Yes. Feeling full of cold again. Well, not full of cold, but feeling coldy again. So that better not be anything, because I'll be furious if I come down with another one. And as you can see from the heat mat on my shoulder's giving me shit. But that's just, it's just the aches and pains and the creaking as I head rapidly towards 50. So
it's terrible, isn't it?
Slide rapidly down towards 50.
Do you know what I mean? I got an image of myself with my fingernails just clawing onto the ground and it just giving way beneath me as as I inevitably tumble towards 50.
Oh yeah, it's scary. It's scary when you see people people that you used to know as kind of babies and kids, and now they're adults.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've had that experience.
I've indeed.
It's pretty scary.
I remember when I was 16 and trying to revise for my GCSEs, and our next door mum and dad's next door neighbours had a baby, and I had to move bedrooms because the baby was crying so much. And now that baby is 33, got a kid of his own. It's just like, Jesus Christ, I'm so old.
Yeah, and you can still remember those times. It's pretty freaky. My daughter was 11 this week, so that was pretty. That always brings back the kind of memories of all the other times past. And you look back at old photographs, and you look at the photographs from this birthday. She had a few friends over, and it's like, oh my God, she's like 1.52 meters now. I mean, that's pretty tall already for 11. So it's just crazy. But at the same time, the older they get, the more useful they get for helping around the place. At least in sorry, man. At least in a kind of an ideal situation, but that doesn't always work in practice.
I was going to say, start carrying the boxes of figures in for you. Oh, my shoulder's a bit sore. Can you carry this box in?
I had a great experience this week, actually. My youngest, so I've been trying to teach him chess, and I maybe started a bit too early. So he's 8, he's nearly 9, he's 9 in 3 weeks. They're 3 weeks apart, and 2 years. So both birthdays in April. And I started a couple of years trying to teach him chess, and he wanted to play with the pieces, but he wasn't too interested in the game. And then somehow through either friends or maybe watching a bit on the internet or something, he's decided he wanted to try it again, and he played with some older friends or whatever, cousin or something, and he kind of got the hang of the rules. So now we've been playing games of chess, and he's accepting that he won't win straight away, but he's learning a lot. So that's great fun, and keeps them off the screens, which is I'm not going to introduce him to like iPad chess or something like that, because then he'll just replace me with the computer, and I can't cope with that.
It's great fun until he starts beating you, John. Then it gets less fun.
Yeah, well, that might force me to actually kind of brush up again, and because he used to be big into it, but it would be nice to have a buddy to play with.
Speaking of not letting him play on the iPad, so talking computers, a little like what would you call it? A little bit of a look into Malcolm's past and as a youth. When I was doing IT in, well, we call it. I know it would have been secondary school. One of the games on the old IBM computers was Battle Chess. That was always fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
I remember Battle Chess. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
Quite bloody.
That's right. They'd have a proper animated battle once you took one. Yeah, that's fun.
It. Yeah.
I remember the utopia for me when I was, I suppose, it was definitely before I was a teenager. I got one of those chess boards that was kind of had electronics in it, so you could press the square or you move your piece to, and then the computer would kind of calculate, and then you'd have to move their piece. The square would light up, and then you move it to the other square, and it would light up.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
That was kind of very high tech back in the time. I'm sure the level of the computer couldn't have been that big. It couldn't have been that good because of processing power or whatever. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, life moves on. Life continues, and I'll play a bit of chess. How was your food in Birmingham, Rich? You had a little pit stop on the way home, I believe.
Yes, we were going to go to a Japanese restaurant because my daughter, who I've just Googled now and is 164 centimeters, and she's 11 and a half.
Wow. What is that in feet then for
our American listeners? That's
5'4.5". 5'4.5". Wow. So my daughter must be what, 5 foot probably.
Yeah, 5 foot and a tiny bit probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go into the idea is to go to a Japanese restaurant because she's into everything Japanese and Korean at the moment. And then when we got there, she decided actually no, that was a bit too adventurous for her. So she's like, let's go to Yo
Sushi. The raw fish.
Yeah, let's go to Yo Sushi. Well, okay, that's fine then. Chain.
So what's Yo Sushi? Is that kind of chain?
It's a chain restaurant, yeah, that does sushi and a few other Japanese and Chinese bits and bobs. So we get to one, and there was 8-9 staff there. It was like an open plan thing in a shopping mall. It's like an open plan, 8-9 staff there, and they went, "Oh, sorry, yeah, no, we're going to be closing in a minute." And this was like 4:45 in the evening. And they're like, yeah, we haven't got any staff. And it's like, I can see 8 of you. Never mind. So we ended up in a lovely Chinese place.
Cool.
So we had salt and pepper chicken. I had gorgeous. And some bao buns. And Kerry had honey and something beef. It was, just really lovely meal. So if you're ever in Birmingham, I can highly recommend Mrs. Chew's.
Mrs. Chew's?
I don't know that one.
That sounds like a sweet shop.
Yeah, it's like a food complex or a shopping centre right next to the station. And there's a link corridor through to the Bull Ring.
I see.
For Mal now.
Yeah. I remember the Bull Ring. That's all.
I'll find it.
Anyway, yeah, we don't need to do that for our listeners. But that's cool. I think, salt and pepper chicken, if it's properly spicy, that's one of the foods I might take to a desert island,
Yeah, good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The squid version of that for me. I love it.
Not a big. It depends on I suppose, if the squid is fresh and well cooked, but I find squid can be a bit rubbery sometimes.
That's why I'm trying to get Holly to go to the Japanese place. Well, she likes Japanese stuff, but also they do those octopus dumplings. I don't know if you've had those before. A little bit of octopus inside each. Well, they're amazing.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, bless her. She decided to go the safer route. But she got a load of. There's a shop called Tokyo Toys in Birmingham. It's like manga, just all manga and anime and that sort of stuff, which she loves. So she got herself a nice expensive figurine, and then we went to Forbidden Planet. She got a couple of manga novels, graphic novels from there. So she was very happy.
Was Dad well behaved? And
he was. Dad spent about 20 minutes staring longingly at some Transformers reaction figures that were reduced to £5 and £7 each.
Oh,
I was so
the Super
tempted.
7 ones.
Yeah.
See, that's the proper price for them in
Yeah.
terms of actually considering getting them.
Yeah, because
Would you open them or leave them on card?
leave them on card
would-
would be the plan. And I've got an
Yeah.
Optimus Prime and a Megatron upstairs, which I got not that cheap, but relatively cheap, and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get into this. And then I stood there and was like, do you know what? No, the line has to be drawn somewhere. So I left all those extremely cheap reaction figures there.
I see.
Much to my Kerry, my wife, was just like, you're not buying anything. I was like, no, unfortunately not. I'm just going to leave the shop.
And actually, Mal, is it the Dark Wolf, the Frazetta Girls line, the second figure? Got announced this week?
Tigra. Yes, got
Tigra.
announced. I was out with my mates. So they went into Sports Direct on like a retail park in a place called Tamworth for people listening at home. And I stood outside. I was like, I'll be in a minute. Stood outside, pre-ordering it just to make sure I didn't miss out. Yeah.
Apple.
She looks good.
Yeah.
There's an option to display with a few more clothes, which I actually think I'll probably do that.
So, that is when I was talking about our preview of the Legions Gone Wave last year. That is what I call a titty barbarian.
yeah.
That's the definition. But of course, accurate to the character. So it's not a criticism. I'm just saying that's what I wasn't particularly thinking we'd get in Legions, and probably happy we didn't. But in that universe, in that universe, it's fine. I do have Dark Wolf, but I don't think I'm going to get this one. It's just not for me. I'm not that connected to the lore.
I've ordered the 2 again because the shipping again, it was, made more sense to order the 2. So if you change your mind, it'll be there. Well, and if not,
let's see.
Let's
see how they look in hand. But again, I just don't see that being on my display and my kids coming in and going.
It's fair. Yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair. Even more so if you've got the kids. It's a bit of a risque one to have, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, if it was a character that I had a lot of connection to and could explain it away, but if I would be just like, well, I don't really know much about this character either, kids.
Yeah. She's a nice piece of artwork.
And amazing photographs by our friend Trevor, who we had on last week.
Yes,
so
always.
Definitely kudos to him.
I wonder for a second where you're going there, Mal. She's a nice piece of and I'm like, oh my goodness, where's he going with this? And it's like artwork. It's like, okay, yeah. It's artwork.
Yeah. The Mona Lisa, but in Frazetta.
I prefer Frazetta to Da Vinci, to be honest with you.
Cool. Well, shall we get on and talk about the reveal for Legions Con Day 1?
Yes.
All right. Let's go. So here we have it. So these were revealed. And when I saw, I'm going to kind of give a bit of behind the scenes here, but when I saw the silhouette on the YouTube stream, before they started streaming, there was a silhouette of 2 figures. And it did look like the Vorthog head, which it turned out to be, and the Gorgo helmet, which in a way turned out to be. And I was a little bit like, thinking, it's just going to be used to this again. They definitely saved it for me, and we'll get into that. But there was a point, and even as they were being revealed, where I thought, this is kind of a little bit of a rehash of something I've seen before. But I think they definitely pulled it out of the fire for me. And so we got 2 figures. There's Gaspar, the Unamused, or Mal, what does it actually say on the website currently? The screenshot
on the website, it currently says Gaspar the Unamused.
So, I know that they were talking about maybe getting a T-shirt done of that. So be careful if you're listening to this, Jeremy and the people behind it. Just correct that little typo before you go further into the merchandise for this guy and the box art. But with all the letters in all these names and how complicated they are, there's guaranteed to be a typo nearly, despite all your amazingly best efforts. If they got the unknown run typoed, there's a lot of potential for these 2.
This is it. It feels like on Garwick the unpredictable, there should be a typo somewhere, doesn't it?
I think the garbage, nobody will see if that's
yeah.
So just to clarify for people that are not in the know, because I think we're speaking a little bit like people who are in the know, speaking to people in the know, just for the completely uninitiated and people that have busy lives and didn't get to see this live stream this week or any of the social media, they revealed a 2-pack for Legions Con, and it was two tribute figures, as they have done traditionally so far. They have done 2 packs with the tribute figures. Last year was Walter, and he got 2 different figures in tribute to him. And the year before was the Furious 4, which is a 2-pack that you could make 4 different characters with, and actually 5 really if you include the bonus pieces. And you could buy 2 of them to make the 4. So this is purely a 2, but with a lot of, as we get into extra stuff that we could make other characters with. And they're a tribute to the Four Horsemen O'Clock show every 4 o'clock ish Eastern time every Wednesday. They go live on the Four Horsemen YouTube channel. It's chaos, and it's an acquired taste, I would say. People love it, and maybe people don't like it. But they sometimes have good information, and this was definitely one of those weeks. So it's George, Gaspar, the unamused, because he doesn't like fun, so that was the play there. And Chris Gorridge the unpredictable. He is literally chaos. And this is what you'll kind of hear when you listen to the Four Horsemen O'Clock show. So that's Chris. That's basically, you just listen to that for 30, 40 minutes with a little bit of talk in between. So that's the Four Horsemen O'Clock show. So we won't particularly go into the bios here, guys, because they've done that on the show. It's there, it's a lot of in-jokes for that show, and great. And I recommend to go over and watch that show if you want to get the insight on that kind of stuff. We're going to talk purely about the figures here and what we think. Does that sound fair?
I reckon it's probably for the best.
Yeah. Before we dive into it, somebody mentioned one of the posts earlier, and I saw Jeremy responded to it, saying, "Oh, what we need is it for Gaspar is a T-shirt that says Gaspar dislikes amusement."
Yeah.
As an extra thing for the figure. So you never know. Maybe they'll add that to the pack as well.
Yeah. Or they'll go to. Hopefully, they'll just go to Retro Rags and
yeah, I think Retro Rags will sort something like that.
And it'll be fun
Con.
for people that go to either Legions Con or one of the other cons, that they'll be able to support their little In the Know T-shirt, and that get a little bit of extra street cred with the horsemen. So that's pretty cool. Right. So this is the picture I would have liked to have seen first. I wouldn't have kind of gone through my not bad. I see what they were going for. If I'd seen this first up, I think there would have been enough here to, I would say, bring me a little bit of everything for everybody,
Yeah, this is a picture of everything, isn't it? So it's all the extra heads, all the extra weapons.
I love, It's always my favourite picture with every reveal we get is when you just get, I mean, it's in some ways it's the most, what's the word? Playing picture, because it is just, here's everything.
It's just the stuff.
I love seeing I love seeing them.
And I do understand on the live reveal show where, they're building up the thing, they're not going to show this first. I do like when they post the figures, like for the retailer wave, they led with this picture from getting people to buy the figure perspective. This is the money shot,
Yeah.
So, I mean, a 2-pack with 7 heads, I mean, that's pretty much a heads
fantastic,
pack with
isn't
some
it?
figures.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
And
some tremendous heads in here. The Atlas head. So Mal, you're going to start working on your Adamon custom next year.
I hadn't even thought about that. I'll be very pleased to have that head, and I'll probably get a few of because it's the typically it's the time that's the exclusive head, and it's a head that, as everyone who listens to the show knows how much I like that head. So I'll probably have to pick a few just to have a few of that head to do different things with.
Yeah.
No doubt one will get used in Cosmic somewhere.
Yeah, what I've done with in past Legions cons is I've always picked up 2 of the 2 packs and opened one and kept the other one boxed, but brought the box home for the both. And then if I needed to, make out the Furious 14, for example, then I picked up the singles for my shelf when they went online. For this, I think I'll probably just unbox them. I might get a few sets, definitely, because of the Atlas head, because of, the stuff that comes with it. But I don't think I'll bring home a boxed one this time. I think it'll just be like, wow, this has got so many great parts, and this is my angle for these figures is the parts rather than what they are.
I like to get one boxed and signed. So I've got all the rest signed. So I'll probably have to do that, and then it's how many I get, and the rest I unbox, and just bring them back. So it's just how many. I didn't go down the road of getting them signed, so I've just decided that's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah. I'm happy to know the people, and it's great. And I have the Horseman signature on the Gorgo box, so I think that's probably cool enough. Rich, is this a set that you will kind of keep together as for the characters, or is this custom fodder?
It's both really for me. I was joking with you boys that the Legions Con 2 packs I tend to just bring them back in box and sell them, and then eventually buy the single versions because the additional exclusive bits are never quite good enough for me to keep them. However, with the dwarf parts, then there will be 2 sets of these bought and unboxed at the event itself, and then coming back with me.
Yeah, I'll be making that noise in the room of crushing plastic and popping bits out.
If nothing else, it's great to see the Atlas head, so I can put it on a spike and pretend that he's been killed, and the head's there as a trophy for somebody.
Just dry brush a little bit of blonde over that, and then you really have Atlas.
Yeah,
I think. Boom,
there you
I will say that's the thing as well, isn't it? I really like the way those. Simples sounds a bit offensive to him, but it feels like quite a simple paint app on the dwarf lower half, but it looks so effective, looks so good.
Looks great.
And let's get into that in a sec. Let's just go through the actual figures themselves. So first we have the Gaspar figure. So he is effectively an half-orc monk, and it's a kind of brown skin, I guess you'd call it, or it's kind of.
It was suggested it was similar to.
Arazak. No, the other guy.
No, the other one. Yeah.
Samir.
Yeah, Samir. So it's sort Samir. Of bronze, heavy bronze, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. And comes with the robes from the Cosmic Legions figure.
That's it. Yeah, the one that's coming soon.
Yeah, the one that's coming is Altar Silovius soft goods, and actually his soft goods are on both figures, so the same cuts and whatever. This uses the Monkey King necklace, which I think is a very useful piece for these type of characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this the kind of way you'd be displaying him, Rich? Or
it is. I think I'm going to go with this head, the half orc head. I really like it actually. There's just a reformed character, as it were, type thing. So he's been evil, now he's reformed. Yeah. He collects toys. What's not to like about him?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
I was just going to say I really like the pose with him cross-legged with the figure in his hand.
With the figure, so
that's the one.
He's a collector, so obviously he has one of the toys from the Father Christmas figure, and he's sitting kind of in a yoga pose. And Jeremy actually said that because this was the two guys that produced these figures, or brought them, were Chris and George, but they weren't in on the fact that they were their own tribute set, and so it was very hard for Jeremy to explain why they had this accessory in it. And even to the point where Trevor actually mistakenly photoed the other figure with this accessory. And then
I want to see that picture there.
Yeah. I'm sure you've stayed with Trevor, so surely you have an inside line on actually getting the figure, the behind the scenes. Oh, well, I'm sure he's allowed to share that with you now that the figure's been revealed. So these are all new bare parts. So even it seems to me, even the torso.
Yeah, that was it.
That's pretty cool. So
Jeremy
this
said
seems
this
to
was
be
the barbarian body. Was
so this
sculpted.
is like the Valiant Knight version of the barbarian body.
Yeah.
So in something to think about, maybe the drop on the table at Legions Con might be a bare bodied kind of barbarian, like a generic barbarian, as the Valiant Knight is a kind of generic knight for the kingdom. So something like that would be cool, as a kind of an early run of these parts, to kind of test everything and also to put a figure out.
Yeah, that would mean it's Noble
cool.
Bear though, John. So let's hope that's not the case. Eh?
Well, I was going to say, we're waiting on the dark version of the Valiant Knight, aren't we? So maybe it'll be an orc.
Yeah, maybe that's true. So we got the cool picture here with in pubs like that. Also, he comes with the Zende head, and Jeremy revealed on his stream that his unofficial name for this is a tribute to Mike Xavier from the Mythic Enablers, and he called him Brother Xavier, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's not officially in the stuff or whatever, but that's what Jeremy considers this build to be. So that's cool. Mike, I think, was over the moon. He was on the live stream at the time.
Can we just take a step back from the legs? We didn't talk about the legs. That they're not featured in the Rising Suns wave. They were legs that were sculpted as part of the resculpt of all that, but not used in the Rising Suns wave. So
they're not brute scale lower legs, and they're not 1.0 kind of standard legs. They're in between. They're kind of slightly thicker than regular figures. So, and they are the brute scale lower leg wraps around them. They're not fit like a glove fit apparently, but they work fine. So that's interesting to know. And that is the Varg. The first came with Varg wrist wraps on the arms. So
that's what I was then going to say. Is there you go. Though you might have actually got it spot on. Is where are we going to see them next? Where are they? What are they for?
Well, we get on to our predictions as we go, Mal. But that
true.
is definitely
That's
an option.
true.
I could also see them maybe popping up just with another character, kind of if there's any spillover from the Rising Suns wave in one of the next waves. True. For example, the next Mythics wave, which would be your traditional in between wave, possibly All Stars, possibly not. You'll have to wait and see what we think.
Anyways,
we've got some nunchucks here, which very intelligently put together. It's basically those what would you call them, handles? And there's just a little bit of a chain,
the mace,
grips, there's a bit of a chain holding them together, just a real metal chain, so they didn't need to do a resculpt for that. What they have said for the Legions Con exclusive figures is that they don't use new parts, but they could be using parts that are tooled but never been used, which, for example, the body parts here. But they don't do any new specific tooling for it, which is why they wouldn't tool a new set of nunchucks, but they can make nunchucks out of the parts they have, which is that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Who doesn't love to see? Again, this has me more excited. Just it's more Eastern vibes, isn't it? It's just like You got the Monkey King, now you got nunchucks and the sort
Yeah.
of monk thing. It's just
Stuff
you're
that you
leading
can-
us in the right direction.
And basically that they could get stuff like this into the figure without having to kind of risk any sort of production delay or whatever. This is there and ready to go. And also, I think the point about a monk figure is that they don't use bladed weapons. Apparently, that's a kind of a monk thing.
Okay.
So that's why he has the nunchucks and what was the other weapon? It was
Staff.
a staff, yeah. And that is actually a Cosmic Legions staff, just painted.
That's what it is. I was trying
Oleg
to.
Tiger.
Yeah.
It's the
I was
Oleg
trying
Tiger
to figure out
staff.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, on to Gorich, the unpredictable. So, when I first saw this, I thought it looked like a mess, to be honest. It is the cloth. And they kind of approached it, Jeremy explained, that they wanted to get a lot of these parts in colours that hadn't been out before. But obviously they kind of had to pivot a little bit from that to kind of get it to actually look better. I do think it's the Shadow Orc head really here that doesn't work for me on this type of figure.
I kind of agree with you on it. He's still the one of the two that I'm least fussed about, despite the fact he's got a lot of parts I like. And I think you're right, because then you see him with some of the other heads, and actually it starts to be like, ooh, I quite like that.
Yeah, the only possible way I think this could work with the Shadow Walk head is by the fact it's used the antlers. I think that's made it different, unusual enough. Some people may say, no, that's just a weird combination, but that's about the only way that it works with that head. But the other heads are better, quite frankly.
But I think with the antlers and then the long Monkey King shoulder pads, it's just there's so much kind of long pieces there that it kind of makes it look like a weird proportion at the top. And especially in this pose here, I mean, maybe we'll move it along to the next picture. With the cat head, it looks way better.
So good.
Yeah.
I love it with the cat head.
And I think it's just that height of the antlers is gone, and it looks a little bit more in proportion, and the paint job on the cat head is amazing.
Oh, it's fabulous, isn't it? I love the paint job.
Yeah, so they said that they took some inspiration from different type of painted faces. Can't remember exactly what Jeremy said, but they eventually settled on
Kabuki was mentioned.
Kabuki, yeah, maybe something like that. But they eventually settled on kind of their own version of. They didn't take any direct inspiration in the end. I mean, they took inspiration, but they kind of did their own spin on it in the end, because they found that's what worked best. Yeah, looks great. I think this kind of head sculpt has been reused a few times. It needs that type of a paint job to kind of stand out now. Otherwise, it's just going to remind you of. This is why Balam is so great with that head sculpt, because it has so much paint detail. Whereas purple ore is just purple, and the black head it's okay.
Yeah.
And the red one is okay as well, but they just end up looking like the same character,
Yeah, this is the sixth time, isn't it? They've used that head sculpt,
Yeah.
so they had to do something really different.
I do like it though, and I like the fact I actually
Oh,
quite
it's
like the
wonderful,
colours. Oh yeah. I'm not saying that, but I like the colours under the face paint kind of thing as well. The more orange, golden colour to it, whatever.
Yeah,
you call
exactly. And lots of belts here, and belt straps, and also the sheaths for the swords. So,
the way they're posed as well is awesome.
Yeah. In fact, the weapon for the original weapon for this figure, so for the Gorich figure, it is the trident handle with the elf blade on top of it. So, your trident handle, the kind of forked trident, and they stuck the elf blade kind of on top of that.
One thing I would say with this is I love it, the idea of it being a sword master and the belt with the two loops, the two swords and that sort of thing. But I'm not sure those swords work brilliantly with it. It's got the sort of Eastern look with the the pauldrons and the torso and that sort of thing, then it's fairly generic swords. But maybe that's because they're not
to be a bit more curved or whatever.
Yeah, something with one of the curved ones, because they've got a couple of different types of curved ones.
I'd love if they were the kind of machete type swords that they have.
Yes,
they would look cool.
They would look good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get at some point a more katana style sword from. I mean, we'll see if we do at some point, but I do like the katana as a sword. And
this is a new color again for the cloth arms and legs as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's always good. You know, that gives you a chance to mix it with maybe mustard yellow. Yeah. The green. It's
I
the
wouldn't
green
wear
that
this
throws
color
me.
myself, you know.
To be honest, it's the green that throws me as a color. I keep blowing hot and cold, and one minute I'm like, that's really good, and then the next minute it's like, oh no, I really don't like that green.
Yeah,
might need to see this one in hand, I think, to appreciate the green. And the Gorgo helmet, which has apparently come now with every Legions Con exclusive, so they've thrown it in here. Kind of a little Boba Fett vibes here, a bit.
Yes, people start getting very excited about that, didn't they? It was like, oh, it's a Boba Fett thing.
Yeah, but it does.
But you have to say that's what makes it cooler, is that it's got that color. Yeah. Ironically, it's got the green and gives that Boba Fett vibe.
Yeah, antlers. Okay, not so much Boba Fett, but yeah. And anyway, the outfit is, you're not going to. Here's a little bit the money shot for me here. This is the exclusive Atlas head. They have now used the altar Solovius as a cape with the Gorge figure, whereas previously, if you look on the first picture there, it was a skirt. So now we have it as a cape. Trevor
looks better as a cape.
Decided to use. So that's, again, up to the buyer. You do what you do as you like. The Atlas head looks great. They said that they didn't paint the Atlas head to match the skin tone of the monk because it just didn't work with the Atlas head. It just, I guess there wasn't maybe enough contrast, or, didn't maybe kind of match that type of a face. So I understand that. And the King Bromden head on the monk, to make a dwarf monk with dwarf lower legs and brand new boots. So these are different boots than you get in the dwarf set from the Rising Suns wave. New leather boots. So always cool to get leather boots, Mal.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of. Yeah, I think that's part of why I like that, because it's got on that worn leather kind of effect on the whole thing. So.
Yeah, and they actually said with the monk figure, so with the Gaspar figure, that they used the tibius belt. That was the trickiest part they had, was to use the belt. They wanted to use the belt from Red Death, but it was too small.
I missed what they said. Yeah, so it's the tibius belt.
Yeah, with some straps added. So that works for sure. So that's them. The Atlas there. That looks like a cool figure, just on its own.
Yeah, I was almost crying when they put this picture up. It's like, damn it, I like something that's associated with a noble bear. That sculpt, but it looks absolutely incredible here, and I will definitely be displaying it like that, or one of mine like that.
Yeah, this is why I need multiple, because I've definitely got to have one of them.
So there's I think the default builds then we have for the figures. I think the first pictures they showed of each figure. This is the monk figure with the Fortog head. Might have to be the last time they used that head, I think. I don't know.
I do like it, and this is another good repaint of it, though. That's the thing. Every version they've done, it looks good. I mean, I like it's the one I use on Bryophytus because it looks cool.
Yeah. True, it is. Yeah, it works really well with Bryophytus. And the Gorge figure, I don't think I'll use it in this configuration. If I display it, it will be either with the helmet or the Atlas head. And then the glamour shot from Trevor. And this shot actually was the first thing they showed, and it's an amazing shot, but I thought we were getting more Fury Clan from this. Can you see in it that they look red? That skin tone looks red. And I thought, this is just more Furious 6, whatever, they're going to be in the Fury Clan, which is cool in a way, but these didn't work in the Fury Clan for me, so I'm glad they weren't.
Yeah. No, I thought when I saw the Gowrich armor, I immediately thought, oh yeah, that's the same armor that they use for the Fury Clan one. Okay. Same reds and everything, but obviously
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not, no. So you saw that's just the lighting in the picture, and as being a glamour shot, you can use, whatever lighting, that's cool. So that was that. And yeah, so the last thing to say about these for me anyway is that they put them in the Convocation of Basilia, which is my favorite faction. And I don't think I want George and Chris in my favorite faction, so it's going to be a tricky one for me. I don't think they'll be in Basilia on my shelves, put it this way. But, as with all tributes, they're not main characters, so, fine. But, yeah. So, that's them. And
I was going to say, you guys saw Jeremy's show. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. Did he say why they went in Basilia?
Yeah, Malgo?
It was just, he said, he did actually say he felt like it was a bit too easy to put them in House of the Noble Bear, even though he felt like the monk fitted in there, as did like the Blade Master. It was too easy because it's, Noble Bear can turn into a bit of a catch-all, a bit like the Sons of Red Star.
Right,
But
okay.
he felt like with the slightly mystical side of the monk character, that lent itself to Convocation Basilia.
And then with the Blade Master, his kind of powers to do with the blades could also be explained by Basilia.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was, yep. So we did get some comments on our Discord from our patrons. So one of the first things was from Chris James was what do we think the Sunday reveal will be? I don't know if you've had time to think of that.
I actually have.
Oh, well, Mal.
Because when I was watching, after I'd finished watching Jeremy's show and I'd made the notes, one of the things that sort of started, I think we'll get a 2.0 figure again. I think we're going to follow
a version
similar
2, yeah.
format. To, sorry, a version 2. I think we're going to follow.
Don't say 2.0 figure, Mal. I'll be like,
I think we'll follow a similar format to last year's.
yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Exclusives. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Otho, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It would feel like that's a really good place to put him.
So
that's who I've got on my list. Is the 2.0?
So Ryan, the Fury Clan Ryan, I replied that to him that I thought it might be, main character version 2, and he said that Jeremy said they wouldn't put important characters in the Legions Con figures. And I said, what about Vorgas? And he said, he's not really an important character to the story. So
ban him from the Discord.
And maybe that's
it's
true.
a fair point. Yeah, they did. I do remember that's true. Saying that.
So
I guess this might show how important Otho is. Then, if it is an Otho, he's not actually that important in terms of the main storyline.
I do think it's a version 2 probably as well, but I'm not sure which one. Or an outside bet, but I think we might get these later in the year, is Helios and Selene. Or one or the other. Or
yeah,
I mean, that'd be amazing. I would love that. But
yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a 1-pack. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a version 2 of Hera.
Oh, that would be cool, yeah. But she's important, though.
As Poxus has just hit. Yeah. Yeah, ignore
I don't know.
I'm just...
Archer Hawk said we have an Atlas head on the Saturday, so Otho head on the Sunday, ? As a throw into. I think we've already had a re-release of Atlas or a version 2 of Atlas with the last wave, so I think that's why they were able to throw that head in.
Yeah.
I know they did the Scapular before Scapular came out, but maybe different circumstances. Jeremy Grovier says he's hoping for a bad guy and he's hoping for a brute scale. So, I mean, all good shouts there, but that would be an entirely new character to me then if it's a brute scale. So I don't think we get another tribute. I don't think they do two tributes. It's going to be something to do with the lines. Cosmic, maybe, Mal? That's your area of expertise?
I'd love it to be a Cosmic, but I just feel like even as a fan of Cosmic, I feel like when it comes to Legions Con, there's so many more people into Mythic.
Yeah.
They might, all right, if they do a 2-pack like they did with Walter, and then maybe they'll do that again. Maybe they'll do a Cosmic 2-pack. But I think they'd be better off doing a version 2 of something.
Yeah. And then lastly, Dave Derrick said maybe The Apprentice from the Red Star story.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah.
That would be cool. I'd be well down for that.
Him or the Master.
Or the Master, yeah. True. Yeah. I somehow think, I have a feeling with the Master that he'll be revealed to be someone we know already at some point.
I think you're right on that, yeah.
But maybe not either. But that's my fun theory behind the Master.
If they do The
No, I think
Apprentice,
you're right.
they're going to have to do it with a voice box feature and get you to record the voice track. Because you nailed that in our read through, so it's going to have to be your voice for The Apprentice.
Well, that
We'll
would be
offer
I will definitely take the kind of Mike Xavier kind of tribute by stealth route to this if we get an Apprentice. Now, I have inserted myself in the conversation. Mike, the figure, looks like his head, so that's a pretty easy. I have just voiced him on my podcast as a kind of way, So if we could get an Otho story or a Balaam story that I can voice Balaam, and then I can just claim it as an unofficial tribute to myself.
Balaam spelled backwards is actually John.
In Irish.
Yeah.
You get Balaam story, you'll just have to figure out how to meow and growl lots of different ways.
I have to get one of my cats. Just come in here and growl. I know the one that'll growl. That's for sure. I was saying to my wife today, I had the cat on my lap, upstairs. We were at the table having a cup of coffee, and the cat was on my lap, looking for food, of course, And I said, I wish the cat was able to kind of, stay calm enough that like he could sit on my knee during the podcast, because it would be a great sound absorption blanket. It would be great for the reverb on the sound to just have a big fluffy cat there to absorb all the reflections from the screen and all that. So, but that's just total nerdiness. So, anyway, are we good with the Legions Con?
Yeah.
And that's why we recorded so late this week. We decided to do it on Thursday evening so that we could get our reaction into this and still get it out to you on Friday. Right, so then let's have a little bit of fun and talk about predictions that we're going to have for the rest of the year. Right, Mal, you seem to be ready to go.
Yeah, so I am like 80% sure that the next thing that's coming is going to be a Figura Obscura. So I think we should talk about that first.
Okay, any ideas what you think it might be?
Honestly, not a clue. Because my thinking is either we're going to get one next or we're not going to get one. And they might do the multi-pack of Ghosts from Christmas Carol towards the end of the year. But I just feel like they wouldn't. Although I suppose they did the Headless Horseman. I was going to say they might not want to put a Figura Obscura out with that much expense behind it, but actually they've done it already, haven't they? So
I think it's a decent shout. My initial thinking was that they might do something like Blackbeard as the next Figura Obscura, but they've used that coat like twice already with the retailer wave now, so they might want to give that a bit of a rest for a little bit.
And obviously the Easter Bunny's time has passed, so not going to be him.
Yeah. I would love to see Pigsy, so the next of the Monkey King characters.
The Monkey King, yeah.
That would. I'll take any of them. Don't get me wrong, but Pigsy would be my favourite if they're going to give us one of those characters. And it's the same sort of time as Monkey King. This was early in the year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was May, June last year. Yeah.
So if they're going to do an early-ish one, then that would be a good one to go for.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Definitely.
My only question, I think, and I didn't think about this because in our chat, I sort of agreed with Mal and said, yeah, Figura Obscura next, definitely. But are the shipping team close to breaking point with the amount of stuff they've been shipping out recently? Would they want to give them a break and go, actually, let's show a different pre-order wave and then go to the Figura Obscura? So you're not shipping yet more stuff out.
Yeah, but what are they doing if they're not shipping stuff?
They'll find other things for them to do.
Yeah, maybe they'll want to, but at the same time, if you're not shipping, you're not making money. So, there is an element of that
that's true.
behind it. But yeah, it has to be. I think Figura Obscura would be a good shout, but again, as you say, lots of shipping. They've just done an in stock, so possibly a pre-order might be in order. I don't know, but yeah, I can definitely see a Figura Obscura coming before the summer. Definitely. What about the next wave then? What are we thinking? I'm thinking it's going to be a Mythics wave. And my shout would be, it's not an All-Stars wave, but a version 2 Stars wave. And this would be totally like gangbusters, but if they were going to do that, it's Otto, Urzok, Thord, Aetheron, Xylona, and Hera, Serpent's Fire. That would, for me, be perfect wave. Throw in a couple of, if you want to put a couple more figures, throw in that Barbarian from the Rising Suns or the Noble Bear, and maybe one or two other characters to kind of make sense of that. Maybe a couple of Aetheron's cards or something. Now, that might be throwing a lot of sauce at the same time,
I think that's, for me, why I go, I don't think they'll do that, is because that'd be, not that they don't do waves with a lot of extra new sculpting and new parts, but that would be a lot, and all are going to be slightly higher price figures, aren't they? What you would expect.
So maybe half of the number, and then a couple of
it could be. I think
a couple of kind of reuses, repaints, or whatever.
That's it. Well, yeah, I could see them doing All Stars Plus again, and some of the pluses being version 2.0. Yeah, version 2. Why do I keep saying 2.0? Version 2. Yeah.
What do you think, Rich? Would you buy that wave?
I would buy that wave in a heartbeat, John. It's a cracking idea. As Mal said, I think it might be a few too many new parts in one go. Yeah. But then maybe they want to really show off this year. It's like, it's the 25th anniversary of the Horsemen. Yeah. It's the 10th anniversary of Mythic Legions. Let's just go for it and show what we can do.
Should point out, Jeremy did say in the interview I did with him that it's going to be a Mythics heavy year this year. So,
yeah, because if they do a Mythics wave next, then that means we're not going to see the cosmic wave until August and IshCon. Yeah, which I think is probably the route we're going to go down now. But that's a year.
That's what I have it down for.
Waves, so it's like that's a long time without a cosmic reveal.
Yeah, but in the meantime, there'll be shipping Zaxius, so cosmics will be front and center there, and then probably by the time Zaxius is shipped, maybe then it's the IshCon reveal. So that's a lot of cosmics there.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And I get the impression that last year they realized was cosmics heavy, and maybe that line is now established and they can kind of get into a flow with it. And maybe they also can see the numbers behind, what makes most sense. Are they going to make more money as a company if they do 3 Mythics waves and like 2 cosmics, or, that ratio?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be, 50-50, 3 and 3 or whatever each year? I don't know.
I guess because it is the 10th anniversary of Mythic Legions, it makes sense to make it a really heavy Mythics year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No disrespect to Cosmic, but we're going to go heavy on Mythics here because this is an anniversary year. This is,
totally
proud moment for us. Proud moment for us.
Come a long way.
Here are your lizard men. It's like, yeah.
Well, I think we could get more lizard men in the next Cosmic Wave. But
we could, yeah. But have you anything else for the next full wave? So are we all in agreement it's going to be a Mythics?
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think I was thinking like Mal said, like an All Stars Plus, but obviously not the Plus.
Okay, so in All Stars, and do you think the appetite is there? I mean, there's some appetite there for All Stars, but do you think that's the best idea, or do you think the idea of kind of version 2s?
I'm still a fan of All Stars because I it's that thing of gives people the opportunity who are newer to the line, or even some of us, if they do some of the older figures, to get figures we haven't had, or maybe figures we've picked up secondhand that aren't necessarily in the best condition. So get a newer version of it that's a bit tighter, a bit better paint app, doesn't smell of cigarette smoke, whatever. So I'm still a bit of a fan of the All-Stars side of things.
Yeah, and again, it's like I keep going back to this 10-year thing, but again, it's like, here's a chance to get, vote for Thor Dinejaw as an All-Star or something like that, right back to the beginning.
Yeah. But, say they did either, a kind of version 2's wave or a, All-Stars Plus, you get your traditional 2 or 3 All-Stars. So, the usual suspects from the last couple of years, we've been through that, plus an alumni. So maybe a Pixis, maybe an Asterion, maybe throw in a couple of other ones, a Norn Steelhide as a possibility or something like that. So do all that, and then some new characters. What about, that's the point where they maybe put in a couple of new characters from a new faction. Maybe a couple of dragon riders. Wouldn't that be a way to kind of tease the dragon?
That would be incredible.
I do feel like in the next couple of years, we're going to get more of Rhaegor's faction. I think that faction is going to be one of them that we do get more of.
That's what I'm saying. So the Rhaegor faction with the dragon riders. And then everyone's left kind of wondering, when am I getting me dragon?
When we get in the dragon too. Yeah. Legions con.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe they'll surprise us and do the All-Stars and then with a couple of dragon riders and the dragon.
Yeah.
And it's like, there you go. You can now pre-order the dragon.
Yeah.
I think they'll save it if they're going to do the dragon. That'll be the,
Totally.
So
right,
I'm wondering with John, with All-Stars.
Yeah.
So it's, the dwarves are so in my head, I was trying to think how they might do the sort of ordering and, what would you pick? And I'm wondering, the dwarves are so popular at the moment, whether they do like a little group of dwarves and say, right, Jorund, Thord, Orn, and Halmir are in. You can have one of those. So you can have one dwarf.
One out of those 3 or 4. Oh my God.
And then older figures, so you say Pixis, Sagalaron, Asterion, Urzok, and Kador maybe. There's another group. You can pick one of those. And then I think Advent of Decay has been out for so long now that I think maybe a group of figures just from Advent of Decay, and you can have 2 of those. So when I was going through the list, it was like, Balaam, Juno, Azza, Brother Mandibulus, Faunus, Hera, although Hera might be a version 2. I get that. Clavius, Noglin, Lucretia, Morglith, Urxa, Thistlethorn, and Zarya. I mean, there's some like really good characters there. And obviously it's been quite a few years now since Advent of Decay came out. So it might be a chance to maybe direct people a little bit more with the All-Stars and go,
I'd love to get an unarmored Clavius, as in with 2 bare arms in that skin tone.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
You mentioned King Noglin there. Is it time we get a few more goblins this year?
The goblin folks are definitely definitely thinking it's their time, and I wouldn't blame them because we got Swig in the last couple of years, and before that it was Thwick, was it? Or no, the one in Wasteland. Thump.
Yeah.
Thump, yeah.
And then we got the Goblin Legion builder, obviously, in the Reinforcements one, and the dwarf goblin, which I don't really, it's a goblin, but I don't count it as the goblins compared.
I like the skinny little goblins.
Honestly, if there's an All-Stars and Snag is in the list.
I missed Snag off. How did I miss Snag off? Yeah, absolutely. He'd be in the list.
Yeah. And I could also see a repaint of that head, different hood color.
Yep.
Maybe even a different, slightly different green or yellow skin tone. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So
here's another question then. So we John, your version 2 wave, which would be incredible. Or there's the dribs and drabs of a All-Stars Plus wave. So, they might give us maybe another Circle of Poxus wizard because the 2 Legions con reveals are Basilius. They might give us a Circle of Poxes wizard, maybe for that, and maybe one noble bear character and one Sons of the Red Star character, maybe, or something like that. Or what if they went completely bonkers and said, right, it's the All Stars plus we'll give you the 4 Great Beasts, new version.
No, and you were giving out to me for Tulin.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is yeah.
Yeah,
But,
again.
we're predicting what the rest of the year is. We don't need to worry about price.
We're not.
Actual
We're not
costs,
finance.
yeah. Absolutely.
Tulin. This is what, us idiots that don't know anything about toy manufacturing, if we were just given a blank sheet of paper and say, draw out the rest of the year, we're not expecting half of this to be right. As I say, we're hoping for 1 or 2 darts in the dartboard to land, and that would be it.
You say we're not.
Sorry, Rich.
I
We
was gonna
forgot
say-
to mention, Mal, you, in our Gorich and Gaspar, you actually predicted in the post on the Facebook, you predicted what the figures were going to be.
Yeah.
And Jeremy shouted you out in the stream. So
Yeah.
that's what we were excited about.
It
Anyway,
was, yes,
Rich-
yeah. It was one of those. It was. They're long overdue them, and it was going to ruin the gag that they never get anything. So it had to be good. There
Yeah.
had to be a reason
Yeah.
they would ruin that gag, because
True.
it's funny that they don't get anything. So,
Anyway, Rich,
I was just going to say,
Really
Mal says, we don't fund them, but he didn't see the size of my ISS order when it arrived last week. It's like, I might have funded this way. But yeah,
and
Great
rumor
Beast.
has it that your wife had to bring that in from the front steps
It's
because you
no
were in
rumor
work.
she did. I was away in a conference with work.
Oh,
And they FedEx, bless them, delivered it 2 days earlier than they were supposed to be, which meant all 5'1" of my good lady wife had to drag in these 2 humongous
Oh my
boxes of
goodness.
figures. So I was not popular. It's fair to
so
say.
your wife is 5'1" and you're 6'2".
2. Yeah, there's quite a high
Oh.
difference.
I need to see family photo here. Yeah, of course, my FedEx did the usual, got it in their facility, saw the estimated delivery date and took that as a fact and just left it sitting for 3 days in the corner.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just bizarre.
mine was 2
But
days
there's
early.
no
It's
point
crazy.
in, as you've heard from our travails last year, there's no point in me emailing them even to ask. I just have to sit in my hands on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that mine got shipped within the first batch or two,
So
Uh,
if they did a 4
yeah,
Great Beasts, and I know we're saying it would cost too much, but if we did,
yeah.
I think they're going to go bigger with Leodyssis. I don't think they do a normal 1.0 scale.
Brood
figure.
scale.
Brute scale. I mean, Ogre seems maybe a bit big, so maybe Brute scale might be the right
Brute
thing.
scale they can do more with in terms of intricacy, and I don't know. With an ogre, it's always a little bit too big. The armor is going to be too big, and even with
Well,
Tarnog,
the
the
main
shoulder
would be-
pauldrons are a little bit too unwieldy. The tolerances in the plastic have to be like, otherwise you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
well, you're kind of hoping we'll get, and I don't know, I've heard it said a few times recently, but that style of leg as well, which might be a bit too much on a bigger figure, an
Oh, the
overscale
sort of
figure.
backwards pointing.
Yeah.
like a werewolf kind of what
Yeah.
you traditionally see in a werewolf type
Yeah.
figure.
Well, they
maybe,
did that
or-
for the science officer, didn't they? With Cosmic.
They did, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But
So,
that's
yeah,
pretty
so-
chunky
yeah.
though,
Yeah.
and it's standard 1.0 size.
But I'd love to see Eric sculpt a really cool lion head as well.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
I'd be
We
greedy.
need
I'd
more-
want
we
2
need
heads.
more cat heads.
I'd
you
want
know,
a calm,
yeah.
serene sort of, no, I'm the boss, I'm chilled.
And then,
And then the full-on rage sort of
Roaring,
head,
yeah.
all the
Mouth
teeth are
open,
on
yeah.
display, and yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Anything more on the 4 Great Beasts?
Xylona, I'd want as a 1.0 buck.
Yeah.
I think you need to beef her up a bit.
Centaur? No?
No, I think keep her as some sort of deer type thing, but
Yeah.
but bulkier. Maybe what I was thinking, like maybe armored antlers. So you could imagine like sort of
that'd be cool.
weaved armor through the antlers, sort of thing. So it sort of flows.
Maybe some trinkets hanging off them or
Yeah.
something like that. That'd be
something like
cool,
that would be awesome. Aetheron, just give us a bird. Everybody's desperate for the bird.
Yeah, big
but
cock.
maybe huge wings. So like the really big, obviously Necronominus is coming with huge skeleton wings. Maybe that sort of level of sort of feathered wings. Although you have to look at the balance of the figure, I guess, with that. But
Yeah.
if you find a way of making them lighter, then that could be great. But the real interesting one for me would be Basilia. Like, what would they do with? I mean, technically, looking at the emblem of the faction, it's a full snake body. I mean, as much as I would love that, I can't see them ever giving us a full snake body. So would it be using like the torso and the arms from Cosmics, maybe, and then with the snake lower half or something like that? Maybe to save a bit of tooling.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll. The thing is, you would find reuse for that type of tooling, though. So it's just a question of figuring out, how much reuse you're going to get, and then that might justify the cost. But yeah, great figure to kind of introduce into the line. But again, that's something that's probably going to take ages to kind of produce, If it's a whole new system, with the snake stuff and it's also making that stuff pop and swappable. They'll have to compromise on that at some point, and say, right, look, the lower half is just, you can pop a torso into it, but the lower half is literally unique to this figure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also getting that articulation, because you would assume they'd want to try and keep that lower part, somewhat articulated. And for a snake, sort of tail must be really hard, and it'd be able to balance.
The good news is that's not our problem to solve.
So come on, Eric.
Get your finger out, mate. Come on. Right. Anything more on the next wave, or shall we move on to what I think is the next wave, the second wave we will get after that, which is Ox Crew. Wave 2, Cosmic Legions, Wave 5. So that's exciting. And the only full Cosmic Legions wave I have us getting for this year on pre-order. Makes sense to you guys?
It does, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So in the Ox Crew, there was 6 surviving crew members, and we've got 3 so far. We've got Velok, we got Ulria, and we got Orvar. So there's 3 more. They've definitely mentioned in the stories the mechanic Cog. So also a great name for a mechanic, even if it's spelled differently than Cog. But yeah, they got the communications officer. He's the one that was sending the logs. So we definitely probably will get him and Cog. And then another one that I couldn't find a reference to. Maybe there was a reference to, but I don't remember. Do you remember, Mal? No?
No. It was mainly the comms officer and the...
Yeah. So we might get some more Thraxians, maybe.
I think so.
Question then, for the crew itself. I think Jeremy said at the start that it was going to be 3 books, the Ox Crew thing. So will we get the other 3 members, or are we likely to only get 1 or maybe 2?
I think the other 3, and then the wave after that will be the ones coming to rescue them.
Yeah, that would make sense, yeah.
At least that, that gives scope then. And that kind of works with the story. And then you have the whole... So, and then in the story so far that we've got the Thraxians, so there's Uka, the cute little goblin compatible or scaled guy who's actually helping them. He got the Thraxians on side, and the Thraxians are actually defending the camp from the escapebacks, and also this unknown person who's watching them, who's actually turns out to be Kern Ray. So maybe we get another Thraxian, slightly different looking.
I think
that's
so.
a kind of a head sculpt and maybe slightly different armor or something.
I would wholeheartedly endorse that.
Yeah,
they were the scouts, weren't they? So they must have other warriors and leaders and that sort of thing. Medicine men, maybe
something like that. So, Kern Ray, I'm wondering if if there's anything. Is she alone, or is there somebody with her? Is there somebody chasing her? Does she have a sidekick?
She put a call into somebody, didn't she? So
Yeah.
She did. And I'm hoping if we do get any more of that group this time, that it might be more of the sort of cyber combo sort of thing. So her helmet, obviously, you know, looks the very grunge with the cybernetic type sort of feel to it. So if we do see more of her group, maybe they've got similar sort of setups. That would be really cool.
that'd be cool. Yeah, a bit
That would be awesome. Yeah. And then, do you think we get another skate back? I don't think so. Somehow,
I hope not.
maybe with a different head, but that's
Part of me thinks we might a recolor of it a bit like we got. Just it's quite a unique sort of tooling, so they might want to reuse it.
Or maybe they keep that for wave 3 then, you know, when it might actually be, you know, harder to get, or it's been released and people realize it's awesome. And then it's like, well, you can get Skate back too with slightly different expression. Because it's a kind of a faceplate system or something I think they have with it. So probably be not too much tooling just to do a different faceplate. And then I suppose, excitingly enough, maybe one or two other local baddies from the planet. So this is they're in the 4th ring, and they're on the Thraxon, obviously. But that's full of weird and wonderful creatures. So they could definitely introduce another character, maybe another sinister character that's kind of threatening the crew, obviously, because I think that's not all they've got, but that's kind of where the story kind of gives them, you know. It's not like I suppose another good character could come along, but, you know.
As long as the character is a box set of small aliens, they can be good or bad. I don't mind.
Well,
but I keep banging on about this, but it's like different size, it's different scale. It's like, you know.
There's plenty in the community, I think, that are on the same page as you with that, Rich. I've seen that comment come up a few times from different people. So
yeah, or if you want to make it a really baddie, you could have a small alien in a 1.0 size mech suit. So, you know, you're not having to charge deluxe or ogre size pricing for a mech suit, but you do still get the cool little alien type effect going on.
Yeah.
Also, I'd love to see with the Ox crew, I'd quite like to see them do maybe 2 of the missing 3 this wave, and then put some, I think I've said this before numerous times again, but robot Legion builders in. So you can keep them really cheap, but you got some robot part. And then obviously, you know, you could just do different colours and all sorts, like, you know, the sort of
that
menial task for
crew
robots
member is a robot.
No, I'd have the 6th crew member as somebody else, because they don't really regard the robots as sentient crew members sort of thing. They regard them more as manual doers of stuff sort of thing.
Cool. That sounds good. Mal, you got any more wish list for Cosmic Wave 5?
No, I think I'm pretty. For me, I think it's going to be some more Thraxians and a couple more of the crew, and I'm not so sure about what around that. I think Wave 3 we could see whoever it is Kern Ray has pulled in. Yeah,
I keep the intrigue going.
As much as I would love more Thraxians, I think we'll get them. Do you think the community will like that? Because that was some of the grumblings. Was like, well, the Thraxian is so basic that is this a Cosmic Legions thing, or is this just a mythic figure?
Come on.
I don't think that myself, but
there
was pushback.
On the other hand, the horsemen have the numbers.
This is true. Yeah,
I mean,
so that would also, I guess they can always, given that it's probably going to be a year between the 2 waves being revealed, they can definitely change plans in that year given the pre-order numbers.
Most definitely.
And so we think that the crew members would probably have similar suits to the Ulria and Velok.
Yeah.
So again, going to be deluxe figures possibly.
What colour are we thinking for the suits then? Obviously we've got blue, pink and orange so far.
I'd like yellow because it's an absolute paint, of a color to paint as a
I could see
customizer.
that.
So
I
imagine
could see us getting
yellow
a yellow
parts.
one. Yeah.
Or white would also be cool as well.
Purple would be
getting the
awesome,
factory
but that
paint.
might send some of our colleagues into some sort of
Yeah.
frenzy that they never come out of.
But given that they're revealing it at IshCon, possibly, purple alien. But I think, was it Velok or Ulria? One of them was quite purple. So
Yeah, Ulrich, I think, was like pinky sort of purple, wasn't she? So
Yeah.
so that might be too close.
yeah, I'm sure no matter what way it is, they'll find the tiny dot of purple on it, and they'll have a party about that, which is absolutely well within their rights.
And the other question with the Ox Crew wave, sorry, John, just about to move on.
No,
Because obviously we had the accessory set. Would they put another accessory set in?
I hope
Flesh
so.
out,
Yeah,
flesh out the
definitely, yeah.
campground a little bit.
I think we will.
Maybe some
Oh,
fence
yeah.
pieces.
Weekly.
They were talking about the power fence and that, weren't they? So maybe
Oh,
some
yeah.
of those.
Oh, that'd
Fence
be awesome.
pieces,
wouldn't it?
battery, the battery for the electric fence, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Isn't Cog as a demolition, or not Cog, Orvar's demolitions expert, so, a bit of TNT or whatever, the cosmic equivalent of TNT, whatever that is.
I'd be up for that. I'd be up for
Yeah.
that.
Right. Shall we move on to G-Con then? Do we
Yes.
think I think there might be another Figura then traditionally between September, October time.
Yeah.
Which-
Mal?
You go, Mal.
Okay. I think we'll get the other ghost. I think we'll at least get one of the other ghosts for Christmas.
For Christmas, yes.
Christmas Carol,
That's the
yeah.
December one. I think that's going to be
Oh,
the
you think there'll be
December
another one?
I think there'll
yeah, I
be one.
suppose.
Yeah, there's this three. It was three last year. Remember the retailer wave had
That's
three
true.
Figuras.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I
it
don't
could
know.
be something else.
Tends to be a bit more spooky, doesn't it? It does, even though
Yeah.
it's not necessarily Halloween. It's more of a Halloween-y. This is where a lot of the US literature that we maybe aren't so familiar with possibly comes into play.
Or
Well,
they do the Jersey Devil maybe, because that's something. Is that what you're about to say?
That's what I was
Richard? Did I
about to
read
say
your
as
mind?
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because they're Jersey guys. There's a big thing about them being in Jersey. So
And I think their 25th anniversary as a company, 10th is their biggest toy line. Let's celebrate all things Jersey.
that would be superb.
Yeah.
You'd obviously have to have a slice of pizza somewhere in there as well.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will never argue with sliced pizza and anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
Randomly, we were looking at our back window the other week, and there was a magpie there eating a slice of pizza. It's
Why
like
not? You know?
we were debating
down to Domino's.
we were debating whether it had mugged the delivery driver, and there's somebody sat there in their car sobbing with half their pizza missing and their delivery gone wrong.
Oh, got to admire the old magpies, huh?
They're
Yeah,
tenacious birds, it has to be said,
They are.
and they sound like velociraptors, which is
Probably what they used on Jurassic Park
yeah.
for the sound effects. Right, shall we move on to, because I don't want to make this too long an episode, because we've got to get it out. So let's move on to G-Con. Thoughts on G-Con? Are we thinking the dragon is going to be part of G-Con? Do you think
this
that's
is
going
my-
to come up? Sorry, Mal, yeah?
I was going to say this is my problem with predicting things at G-Con, particularly is they did the bear, so all bets are off. But I am not entirely sure we're going to get the dragon. And a part of me thinks by saying that they're going to go out of their way to make the
25th
dragon.
anniversary, 10
No,
Yeah,
but it's going to be.
It's going to be a bang. So what can be a bigger bang than the dragon?
It's going to be huge, though, isn't it? They've said themselves it's.
we'll get the dragon at some point this year, but I don't think it'll be at G-Con because I think it would overshadow the rest of the wave.
I'm not sure
So
we'll
what?
get a full wave. I'm not sure we'll get a full wave if we get a dragon. Maybe we'll get a
but
little
if
dragon.
you got the dragon and you got Helios and you got Selene,
You'd have me
come on.
certainly sat there looking like my face, like a slapped arse with my face. It'd be like, where's the rest of the work figures?
But if you got them and then you got the dragon faction related characters,
That's what I think we're more likely to get is characters related to the dragon.
Dragon handlers, big long bits of chain that they have to chain the dragon down with, and
Or a couple of smaller dragons. So you could
They
have
don't
dragon
chain the
riders.
dragons down. They love the dragons.
yeah, but
they treat them like, like royalty.
Haven't you seen Game of Thrones?
I actually haven't, because it got boring after a certain point.
Here you go. Then what if they do like a smaller dragon with a dragon rider, and then at the end of it, they just put up on the screen going, "This is the size of the small dragon. Here's its leg compared to the leg of the big dragon that's come in," and then like just that wow sort of factor, without revealing the big dragon, but just to be clear how big this is going to be.
Yeah, but then you're pushing it to next year. I mean, and then what's,
I mean, this is the thing. It is again Year of the Dragon. It literally, Chinese Year of the Dragon.
If they don't
falls on their anniversary
this year, it's not happening. That's how I see it.
As I say, the bear. That's all I can say is they made a bear.
Yeah, but the bear is 80 quid. The dragon is going to be, or whatever it is. Was it 110 quid or whatever the bear was? It wasn't, crazy. The dragon is going to be 400.
Yeah, it's 300 minimum, isn't it? The dragon.
Yeah.
So, which just seems
it's
too
going
much.
to be another 100 to ship, so.
Well, I think it'd just be the dragon at G-Con if they do the dragon.
That's going to be a short G-Con, though. I don't think they can do that.
Well, I mean, that's true, but I'm sure they'll find other things to do.
They announce a G-Con wave, and then they announce a Kickstarter for the dragon or something, or
that's
equivalent to Kickstarter.
Yeah. That's not a bad shout.
That's not bad, because, I know the Four Horsemen can fund themselves comfortably now, but it's such a big thing, isn't it?
Are you asking for trouble if you're looking for people to pre-order a wave plus kickstart a massive figure? So I think if they're going Kickstarter for the dragon, it probably has to be a standalone thing, and then it's probably going to be outside G-Con. That's for sure. But if they want to just go for, like, if you're writing the movie, it's a wave of 10 figures at G-Con, and then the last figure, the dragon, like somebody flies in, over the crowd on a like a line, a zip line, and just throws this dragon down on the table,
Well, maybe I mean, they always try and keep the price down, don't they, of the waves? So I think, if it gets up to like 550, they're like, oh, okay, that's high enough. So maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they will just do like the dragon for 300 and then 6 figures as part of the dragon clan or something to get it up to around about the 550 mark.
Yeah.
And then you won't have 2 factions, but you'll have a really cool faction that supports a dragon that ties in with Rhaegar and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, maybe if they keep it within the 600-700, including the dragon, you're still going to get a couple of figures, assuming the dragon isn't completely crazy price.
I'd be interested. This is one of those things I would like. I'd love to hear what the wider community,
outside the Legions.
No, outside of like necessarily just even the Euro Legions list, just as a whole, the whole Legion sort of community, what their thoughts are. Because I'm sure there are people who are just like, yeah, they're going to do a dragon. But there's got to be other people like me who's like, they probably will, since they did a bear. But it's a big deal. It's not as, they're just going to do a dragon, as some people seem to be, because of how much it will cost. And they've warned people it'll cost a lot,
Yeah, which might be the reason why it's best to do it as a standalone thing and then leave G-Con to be its own celebration and do things like Helios and Selene and the 4 Great Beasts or whatever, or a couple of new factions. Something really exciting, I don't know.
I mean,
any other ideas for the G-Con?
Well, if we're talking about new factions, you're never going to guess where I'm going to go first with this. But I would like a Lizardman faction.
Lizardman faction, yeah.
You can have all types of different lizardmen or snakes. You can have bigger lizards than to ride. I know I bang the drum on this all the time, but they sell so many of those. I think probably Olek from the Cosmic and the Thraxian from the thing has shown how well those sort of figures sell. So you just sell loads of them. And I keep going back to this other one as well. And Jeremy Gerard did very carefully point out that there's a lot of sea ram mythos. So I think some sort of sea-based faction would be A, amazing, and B, really popular.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I could see that happening. Yeah.
And you could even have a sea-based faction against a faction from outside of Mythos. That's, like Rhaegar, obviously, is from outside of Mythos. Zenda's from outside of Mythos. So you could have a faction from outside of Mythos coming over, and there's like some sort of tussling with the sea-based faction as part of that.
Yeah. Or we could have another House of the Noble Bear wave, Mal.
That'd be amazing. I don't think they will, though. I think they're trying to keep those two factions
some
quite
proper
small,
barbarian skeletons and some proper big naked barbarians. There we go. There's 10 years of Mythic Legions. Thank you very much, Rich.
I do think, I think that's one thing that's for sure. At some point in this year, we'll see another brute scale figure. So.
Yeah.
And that could be as part of an all-star thing. If they do an all-star plus, it could be a brute scale barbarian. Or something
I think the all-stars or not all-stars wave, that'll give us a big steer on where they're going, for sure.
Yes.
With the year.
Too. Yeah.
But we don't have that steer yet, which is why it's fun to do this episode now, because it won't be as much fun when we have a bit more information. Well, it will be fun, but in a different kind of way.
It'll be a different thing, yeah.
I want to give one more plug to my idea that I've mentioned before of one character from each faction, one new character from each faction being an important character to the story type new character. Well, I still think that would be amazing in some sort of a fashion.
That would the buzz that would create would be out of this world. Because everyone's going to have something they want.
Has a favorite faction. Every single fan has a favorite figure, but they have potential there for everyone to have a new favorite figure. Because if you're just a vampire guy and it's House of the Noble Bear versus the the Red Star, then you're probably not going to get your new favorite figure in one of them. You might like them. Whereas if they do one from each faction, there's a potential that people could get, that's my new favorite vampire. That's my new favorite orc. It's my new favorite demon.
I would support that idea wholeheartedly, John.
But again, is that a G-Con wave? I don't know. This is why we don't make these decisions, but it's definitely why it's fun to speculate. So, do we have any more gold for our predictions, or are we good?
No. One last thing from me.
Yeah.
All-Star. So the retailer wave's finished now. They'll drop a Figura Obscura in the next week or two. Then they'll do All-Stars, do the pre-order for that. And then they've got a small enough gap that they can do a pre-order for a dragon, then do Cosmics, then give everyone's wallet a small chance to breathe, then do the Jersey Devil, then do G-Con, then do the Ghosts.
Bingo bango, job's
done.
Good one. There you go.
Literally done. There's just constant figures coming.
We've yacked on for like 40, 50 minutes on this topic, and Rich has summed it up in a sentence.
I'm good at summarising stuff. There you go.
This is why they give them the big bucks in the civil service. Mal, have you got anything to add to that?
No.
Fair enough. Well, for the week that's in it, we'll give Chris one more go. Right. Thanks, guys. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed this week.
Don't have nightmares.
About more Noble Bear waves, Rich.
Stay safe from the dragons.
Ha ha ha!